Hey everybody, Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich here. Well, we got to talk about the nor'easter heading our way this weekend. There's still some uncertainty on the exact track, but there's pretty high certainty that we're going to see some rain and wind. It's just the level of that rain and wind. So let's get right to the details. This might be a little longer today because of all the action going on. And we also are missing satellite data this morning. I don't know what's going on with our satellite data, but you can see we're missing a bunch of frames here. So I'm going to stop the loop because that's annoying me that we don't have the data. But you see a surface low pressure system, but this mess down here, you actually see the jet stream, Pacific jet stream and subtropical jet stream is plowing right through the Gulf of Mexico. And you can already see in the clouds that we're starting to see some of the outflow from what is going to be a low pressure system developing down there. So it's already showing signs that we're seeing that low pressure develop right there. And some of this energy is going to push in and kind of activate this. This is what we call cyclogenesis, development of low pressure over the eastern Gulf of Mexico. And once that thing develops there, it's going to race up the coast and become a powerful nor'easter with strong winds and rain. The problem is where the uncertainty is, well, depending on where this forms, the track could be just offshore, it could be just onshore. There's a small chance it could be farther inland, but I doubt that's going to happen. I think it's more a combination of there. Is it here or is it here? And that would determine how much weather we get back to the west. I do think the further east you go, you're going to see heavier rain and wind. I don't think we're going to miss out on the rain. It's just a matter of how heavy it is and also how strong the winds could be. So let's talk about a couple of things here. I'm going to turn off the satellite data. Let's get into the severe weather outlook real quickly here. Just to show you today, obviously none, but tomorrow you can see Florida now has a medium risk because they're going to be in the warm sector. We're expecting warm air to surge in on the east side of this low, and that's because the track on the east side will be more severe. And then up into the Carolinas, because that track is going to be close enough to the coast, you got to keep an eye on the risk for some severe storms along coastal section. So that's, excuse me, certainly a possibility. Now that's the severe weather risk. The flash flood risk is pretty much medium for all of our area, but notice the sharp cutoff here, basically from here east. And again, that's going to determine the track, depending if it's on the coast right there or just offshore. So that's where there's still some question marks. But let's give you the overview of this thing, and I'll move my head down here where it's a little easier to see. You can see heavy rain and wind, likely all day Sunday, depending on the track, 1 to 3 inches, could be from west to east, 1 to 3. Heavier rain and wind for sure to the east. Wind gust in the western Carolinas, 25, maybe 15 to 25 sustained, gusts to 40 being the top. I think most areas will see gusts to 30. Scatter power outages with heavy rain and wind certainly possible, and temperatures in the mid 50s. Now, for folks following me on the coast, you could probably add another inch of rain to that, like 1 to 4 inches, and probably about 10 to 15 miles per hour to the wind. And then on the coast, the immediate coast, storm surge, waves, kind of the stuff you would expect with a tropical storm. So especially folks in the Outer Banks, this could be pretty problematic. So let's take a look at some of the Futurecast products here as we go into the weekend. All right, so our Futurecast, we can focus on the short range stuff, and we'll go all the way into Sunday afternoon. So you could see, here's our low pressure developing in the Gulf. There's our surface low out to the west. We'll go through today and tonight. Nothing happening. Saturday morning, you wake up, probably some increasing clouds, but dry during the daylight hours. If we're going to see rain develop on Saturday, it's going to be Saturday night, well after sunset, where we'll see some showers. But you see our low developing down there. But look at the shield of rain. Remember, the reason the rain is so far off to the west, we got our surface low up here, and we've got our nor'easter. So the combination of all this moisture being pushed in here is going to interact with this whole system. So the northwest side is initially going to be pretty wet with this system. So as we go into Saturday night, we'll go into Sunday morning, wake up Sunday morning. It's raining everywhere, folks. That's the thing. I rarely put 100% chance of rain so far out, but this would be one of those cases. 100% chance of rain for Sunday. And it's rare that we get a washout, which is an all-day rain, but Sunday's looking like it probably will be a washout, especially during the daylight hours. So we get to 9 a.m., it's pouring, right? It's raining everywhere. The surface lows over central North Florida. And again, the severe weather risk is going to be anywhere on the right and southeast side. So this area where there's warm, humid air, we've got a cold front here, a warm front here. So your typical warm sector. Up here, we're not looking at severe weather. When I mean by severe weather, remember, severe weather technically by definition for meteorological reasons is severe thunderstorms, tornadoes, wind, hail, lightning. Doesn't mean there's not wind and rain and other things going on like you get with a nor'easter or a tropical storm. That's just not considered severe. So severe thunderstorm watches, severe weather outlooks. When you hear that term meteorologically, we're talking about thunderstorms severe, okay? And that's going to happen on the east side of the storm. So you see as we go through time, yeah, the east side and along the coast definitely has that severe weather risk. But look at the rain falling in Charlotte. Panthers game is going to be miserable. I hate to say it. The game is probably going to be bad enough even under sunny skies, but with the weather, brutal. 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock. So the heaviest rain, notice with this track, the mountains, you're going to see rain, but it's going to be much lighter. It's going to be pretty dynamic difference between Western Carolinas and Eastern Carolinas as far as the weather. 7 o'clock, the rain is still going. That's why I say all day rain during the daylight hours. After sunset, maybe we start to see things improve, but it really doesn't get better until we get into Monday morning. So let's talk a little bit about what's going to happen locally. So I want to focus first on the winds because the winds are pretty important here. So I'm going to pause this and we're going to go a little bit hour by hour here. So this is my futurecast winds. Let me move it down so you can see a little better. I'll move my head. So we'll go hour by hour here. You see the strong winds over Florida. I'm going to go up into the Carolinas. So this is 11 p.m. Saturday night. These are gusts, by the way, not sustained. So we go through time. Notice some of these gusts, especially along the coast, start creeping above 35, 40 miles per hour on Sunday. In Charlotte, notice the strong winds pick up in the afternoon. We get our gust over 30 to 40. Now, that doesn't mean there couldn't, in some of these bands be heavier wind gusts, but you get the idea. Man, the Outer Banks definitely could see gust to maybe hurricane force as the low moves away. So you get the idea. These are going to be pretty potent winds moving through, especially in the afternoon. Then on the backside, there's real strong winds as well. So could even see some gusty winds there. So let's talk about our local futurecast. I'm going to pause this. We'll go hour by hour. Move my head back up here so I get a little more room so you can see Raleigh, folks in Raleigh. Here comes the clouds Saturday. First rain is Saturday night. You see it moving through. We go to Sunday morning again. I don't often say this. People always ask a washout. Remember, a washout by definition, just like severe, has a pretty succinct definition. It's continuous rain all day. Okay, that rarely happens around here. We get it maybe once or twice a year. But this is, you see, from basically the time you wake up till sunset, it is absolutely pouring. Now, to the west, it begins to break up a little bit. And you can see it's breaking up here around 9, 10 o'clock. But during the daylight hours, solid rain. By midnight, things start to move out. And we see drier air. And yes, that is snow, possibly in the mountains. Let's talk about the totals. Again, this is all going to depend on the track. I'll move my head over here. The track is key here. Right now, you can see, even in the mountains, you can see an inch, maybe 2 inches across the Piedmont, but some areas here could see 3 to 4. Now, this will shift this way with a track further offshore. This will shift this way with a track further to the west. So, those are things to keep an eye on. Now, severe weather risk-wise, I want to show you real quickly this great product that the Weather Service has based off ensemble means. The thunderstorm fuel is confined to this area along the coast. So when you see this area, this plume of fuel, or what we call CAPE, this is where we could see severe weather in the form of tornadoes or damaging straight line winds. So from a severe weather standpoint, that's the area we're going to watch on Sunday. So just a heads up, there's not what we call non-zero severe weather threat, but on the coast certainly looks like the potential is there. So let's go back to the recap, because I think this is the best way to look at this system. Recapping this whole system, it starts late Saturday night. It's an all-day Sunday event. Heavy rain, more east than west. Everybody sees wind. Could see gusts as high as 40, but mostly sustained 15 to 25. And yes, scattered power outages. When you get that much wind and rain, loosen trees. This is what happens. Trees get loose, branches come loose. They go into power lines and we lose them. Where's that going to happen? Impossible for me to say. I don't know about the tree health and where power lines are. I just know that that's going to happen in our area. And then scattered power outages. The other thing I don't know about is airlines or flights. Folks, I don't know how many times I can tell people, I have no idea what the airlines will do. People think it's based on the weather. It absolutely is not. At least locally, I don't know where your flight crew is coming from or your airplane or the mechanical issues that any of these planes will have. That has a much bigger impact on air travel. This is the week before Christmas, okay? There's a ton of people flying. If we had sunny skies from coast to coast, there would be issues. That's just the way it is. So you have to check with your airline. I'm not going to know because this East Coast storm is going to affect Florida to Maine. Okay. So other airports have weather issues. We could have issues here and it would have nothing to do with our local weather. So you have to check with your airline. Asking me, I have no idea. I could just tell you, check with your airline. That's what I would do. The only thing I would tell you is thunder and lightning on an airport shuts it down until the thunder and lightning moves away. So severe thunderstorms, they have a much bigger impact on airports than systems like this. So in the summertime, when thunderstorms are over airports, that's where you have issues. So I would just say call your airline or check your airline or check the app with your airline. That's the best thing you can do. If you want to avoid this storm altogether, you need to travel today or you need to travel Tuesday. If you're traveling, or even early Saturday, but if you're traveling Sunday, Monday, there's really no way to avoid this on the East Coast. Okay, I will just tell you that much. I will post another vlog tomorrow and I'll have updates obviously all day today and tonight on WCNC Charlotte.